and welcome back to my channel. This is Didsbury Art Studio and I am Sally. And in today's video, I'm going to be using two techniques combined together, applique and free motion embroidery. The theme is graffiti, and just a fun quick fact for you, quick fact for you that in my analytics, I was surprised to see that the majority of my viewers are in the category of 18 to 24. So hello, I had no idea about this. So yeah, do say hi in the comments. That would be great. All right, then let's get into it. I'm looking at using all of these scrap bags of fabrics. Hello there. Which have got loads of different trimmings and scraps of fabrics from projects that I've done sort of over the last couple of years with YouTube and probably other times. And then down here I'm using some cotton fabric, and I've done a rectangle which is 7 inches in width and 9 inches down. I am looking at today this graffiti image that I found online, and I'm going to use it as inspo, my own interpretation of using some of the fabric colours that I've got here. Oh, I've also got some other bits of fabrics down there which I could cut into. And we are going to be using this fabric fusing tape, and this is a film of glue which you can stick behind your fabrics and stick down and use as applique pieces of fabrics. It comes like this, well, from Amazon I got that one from, and you can also get packs like this, which is Bunda Web, which has also got paper on top with the gluey film underneath, and it does a very similar purpose. I want to start by grabbing some fabrics, looking at the colours in this one, and positioning them down and arranging my composition in this box here. The reason why I'm doing it in this box here is because I want to have some excess fabric around it, because I know that when I start sewing into it later, it will shrink a little bit. I also want to do it a little bit smaller today to make sure that I get most of it done. And yeah, it's going to fit well in the embroidery hoop too. What I've decided to do is just get the bigger piece of Bunda Web, and I've just laid over the film of glue over my rectangle, and literally, because I want a large piece, I just think it'd be better to just get the whole thing covered like that. So now that I've got my film of Bunda Web laid down in the rectangle, I'm just going to start grabbing the fabrics that I want to use. A while ago we did a project and we got these prints done, so I'm thinking some of these might be quite good to use in this piece, so I quite like that. And I'm going to have a little bit of a route through here, so I'll put you on a time lapse. Find a couple of bits at the moment, but I'm struggling a little bit because these are very creased, so I'm gonna start getting each individual bit of fabric ironed so that I can just find the placements a little bit better. What I'm doing is I'm just delving through my scrap bags of fabric and just trying to work out if any of these colours could be used appropriately in here, and I'm just filling in all the gaps right up to the edge of my rectangle. So I'd forgotten that I had some really interesting colours of felt there. This one is perfect for this piece, I think, so that's going to go in there. And then I think we could use this stripy one. Let's try it down there for now. I really want to use this print. I'll put it down there. Pop. This is what I've got so far. There are a couple of gaps in between that are missing a colour, but what I've decided to do is I'm going to iron down everything that I've got here, and then I will look at the incomplete gaps and find some fabrics that will go well with them. But it certainly needs a pressing with the iron, and once we use the steam of the iron and the heat, the applique fabrics, these extra bits of fabrics, the coloured fabrics, will stick down due to the adhesive underneath the Bunda Web. It will stick down to this base fabric, and that will be the fabric that we use to work over the top with free motion embroidery. What you're going to need is some baking parchment. You just pop that over the top, and I'm going to use a steamed iron and just iron over the top. And that is what we need. Everything's just fixed down and it's going to be really helpful for us to sew over the top. I also just want to show you that, say for example, you've got a little section like this which has got the Bunda Web showing through and we need to cover it up. I've just cut a little bit of fabric here which I could pop over the top, and you can just make little additions. So let's go back to the fusing, and you can just cut a little bit of this off. Just so that it sticks down, and then I can just take it over to the iron and iron that on like so. So that's all nice and stuck down. And I think to go with this, you don't want to build up too heavily because the layers will get thicker and thicker and it'll be hard to sew on the sewing machine. But so far, that's really good as a base. Keep looking at my image, and I'm going to use my friction pen. This is a pen which, if you put the iron's heat over it later, the lines will disappear. So I'm just using it as a temporary measure, and I'm just going to draw on a few lines where I want my stitching to go with the free motion embroidery, just as a bit of a guideline. You could change to a chalk pencil or a water soluble pen. Now that that is drawn out, makes sense to me, maybe not you, but I've put some of the lines on where I want to use some black thread on some of the patterns and the shapes going on in there. So let's get the machine threaded up. I've got a couple of different hoop sizes here, but I think this biggest one here will suit me. So I'll just pop this on. If you haven't used an embroidery hoop before, this is just going to be used with the bigger hoop underneath in this case. And I'm just going to trap my design in there and just force the inner hoop, the smaller hoop, inside, and you can just stretch that out and tighten it up over here at the screw. And that's just going to give us a nice sturdy base to work on. And I'm just going to change the foot on my sewing machine to the free motion foot. You can either use the zigzag stitch or the straight stitch. These are the two that I want to use anyway. I'm just going to draw over the top with straight stitch to begin with. When I don't want to stitch, I just drag the foot across, and so there's no stitching, and then I just restart in the position that there's a plane going across. Sorry about the noise, but restart in another position. And what it allows you to do, the free motion foot, is you can go backwards and forwards and just write and play around really with the stitch. So I'm exaggerating. It's like a continuous line, so I'm exaggerating going backwards and forwards. I'm just holding on to the embroidery hoop. Runner stitch. I'm going to switch it to zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to do a bit of freestyling. Notice the zigzag stitch stands out much better. Just to show you that I'm literally at this minute just doing continuous lines. So I'm not chopping any of the threads, and I'm just taking a look at the painting that I keep showing you and translating it my way. And you can also change your thread colour, so I'll put maybe white on top of this dark blue. Ooh, that's showing up really nicely. That the white on the navy fabric looks good. So what I'm doing here is I'm just colouring in with stitch some of the little areas and blocking those in. So there we go. Hope you like it. I'll just take it out of the frame so you can see what it looks like there. Such a great little technique for graffiti. And I've used, as I said, a combination of runner stitch and zigzag stitch and black and white thread, just because it's got that very colourful background. But you could introduce other colours and you can be filling in more areas of stitch if you wanted to. But there you go.
No stress, no biggie. Baby, I'm just too jiggy. Better know I brought that with me. Case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my baby. Know how I'm coming.
So what did you think of that technique today? I hope that you found it useful and it was a technique that you maybe haven't come across before. If you have, then send us. A few of you have been sending me some pictures to my Instagram, and I love to see your work when you've used these techniques, these textile techniques. Hope you have a great week, and I'm stalling because I'm sure there was something I was going to say. Oh, that was it. I am going to leave a playlist either up there or over there for you to work your way through, and I shall see you in the very next video. Take care. See you shortly. Bye.